Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pocket Change. Pocket Change 101.
Pocket Change 101 Reselling Podcast, the
Yes,
post Christmas special, or as we like to call it, the dreaded eBay Slowdown.
yes, it'll
Uh,
be our first one of the year. So it'll be 101 starting a new year.
oh, you're talking about it, show 101. We've actually made 101 episodes.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, bless y'all's heart out there in listening and viewing land. I cannot believe that we have made it to 101 episodes.
it's crazy. But we have. All right, this headset, my glasses, I got to get that.
Yeah, you got to get it around them.
Yeah,
Ben's has a new headset,
yeah,
everyone. So he tried to buy the exact one I've got, but as he's missing something. If you
yeah.
look,
I don't want to hide both of my sexy ears.
there
Okay.
you go. See, I
No, I asked you for the
cover
model, and
mine
you were
with
like, "This is
hair.
what it was," and that's what I got. I got the same damn thing, except for they chipped me out of a freaking ear. So it's all good. Luckily, this here works, so I can hear you. You can hear me. Hopefully, it sounds a lot better. I got a little bit of feedback that your mic was much better than mine, so I wanted to improve that. So I got your headset, and I think it was fine. I just think there are audio files out there that the audio means a lot more to them than it does to me. Not that I don't want it to be perfect, but I don't hear the things they hear. So if you're listening, suck it. No, I'm just kidding.
What? No, there are. I coming over from the entertainment industry. I was a singer. I wasn't a stripper. So you're doing that for many years growing up and working where I on Sunday mornings now. Sound guys, they have an ear for these things, and they can hear a hiss, whistle, or pop. I mean that your ears is it's almost like a dog whistle. Normal ears cannot hear the stuff. They can hear it and they're like, oh, it's so annoying. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. For you guys out there that are, we do want to make sure we're not bothering you and you're not turning us off because we have a whisper, a hiss, or a pop anywhere. But everybody say, congratulations, Benz. He has demoted himself to a wired, good old trusty wired microphone. But in case you guys haven't noticed, Ben's is one of those fancy ones. He likes to get all kinds of fancy doodads. I think he's got 12 mics
Yeah,
and probably 1,700 cameras.
you got to try everything. You try everything once. Mud,
I'm
chicken, trees, whatever.
not into that. When we were doing this, I had a horrible setup. You go back and look at some of the first ones. Horrible laptop camera, a horrible sound. I was trying to use my Bluetooth from my phone, and what I did was I just immediately went to what we basically copied what we use at work for our teams meetings and all that. Got the trusty old, what is it, like 190 or something, or 1190 1080p Logitech camera, and the
And the headset.
wired Logitech. Now these aren't Logitech, but because they were outrageously priced, but standard
Yeah.
old corded USB, and it works great. But you guys, maybe that'll be a tidbit for you guys who are looking to start your own YouTube or Spotify channel. But that's not why you're here. We appreciate each and every one of you listen to us. You are here to hear us ramble on about how our week was, the week of Christmas.
Yep.
Of course, Ben's and I were both on vacation mode. I did sell one while I was on vacation mode, and it got delivered the day after Christmas. And again, the reason we went on vacation mode was because there's that expectation you will get messages, hey, I bought this. I paid USPS ground service. I bought it on the 21st, and I see it's not going to get here. Why don't you upgrade it for me?
For free.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. That's the quickest way, especially since the bulk of the items that we sell and most resellers starting out sell, and I think most resellers in general sell, are like $15 to $25 items.
Yeah.
And by the time you upgrade shipping at your dime, pay your eBay fees and all that stuff, there's no profit left. So why would you do it? No, trust me. When I tell you
Yeah.
this, folks, your spouse is not going to be on board with you doing eBay reselling if you're taking money from the pot to sell items and it's not being replaced with more money.
Yes.
If it's actually going down,
Yeah. You're not a reseller if you're losing money. You are Santa. You're giving stuff away for free, right? I might be roly and poly and jolly, and I'd have a red nose, but my beard ain't that white, and neither's my hair.
Yeah.
Although if I get like 50 elves to work for me, I might consider it. Take a 10% of the profits and give away. I don't know. But
Well,
hey, Christmas is done. I'm glad
now
Christmas is done.
that's something interesting you bring up. eBay has started this thing, and I've actually considered it, and I know Ben's probably has too, where you can actually do a charity giveaway. That may be something that we look at doing just to give back because it has been a pretty good year. It's been my best year. Of course, I've only been doing this like what, a year and a half. It just keeps getting better in my sales, but I think it was
And
Ben's best year
I had
too.
my best year too, so I can't complain. But I traveled a bunch this year. I really only sold for 6 months of the year. The rest of the time, it was either on vacation or I had it shut down. And again, for next year, I'm going to shut down the month of February just to try to reconsolidate and figure out where I am with my new job. So we'll see.
Unfortunately, that's what happens. But, folks, we already tell by eBay News. We're going to go ahead and warn you. This may be a short program, or it may be a lot of hokey pokey in here that we throw in as fillers because he and I like to talk. You know that. But there's not a whole lot going on this time of year in the reselling world. There's not a whole lot of meetups. In fact, I don't think there's any. Do you know of any, Bens? I know
Now,
Mike's our resident expert on that.
the first ones are in March that
Yeah.
are big. And there's, if you go on the eBay, there's where you can look for meetups and stuff on eBay. There's stuff that happens every month in your area, probably. I've got 3 different meetup areas around me. Tampa, I think Largo has one, and then somewhere down there. But
Maybe Mike should get us a meetup in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska in January. Can
yeah,
you imagine trying to do yard selling through things?
I don't think you're going to yard sale much. So this time of year, I think everybody's just going through their inventory and making sure everything's right, doing that kind of stuff. Everybody's got a death pile. If you don't, good for you. But we're just trying to.
I just keep listing my death pile stuff. Everything sells eventually.
Exactly. That's my goal. I've been going through all my stuff. I had 15 sales last week. Not anything exciting. Stuff that sold, and I don't have to ship it until the 31st.
I had one sale, couldn't believe it. And actually, when I look at the stats, and maybe this is a good time for us to go over the stats, go to our sales stats here, Ben's. If you compare it to this time last year, which was Christmas last year, the week of Christmas last year, I'm actually
Hmm.
up 100%,
Well, that's good.
which means I did not sell anything the week of Christmas last year. And I went on vacation mode. I was on vacation mode this year and actually sold something. So now it was a whopping $22.85 total sales. I made a whopping $10.64 out of that I put in my. But I can already tell you the item that I sold. It cost me $3.52 according to my spreadsheet. And so out of that, you're talking what, $7.12 that I made? I actually put in my pocket for the week of Christmas. So all in all, as a hobby seller, I guess I'm doing fine. And
Yeah.
good thing it's not what I'm
You,
counting on to put the bread on the table.
if you were, you'd have more than 100 things listed. That'd be a big difference right there.
That is working to change. Ben shipped me some stuff that he wants me to list too, because he, quite frankly, I think his camera's getting hot.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm going to be doing that soon.
So
Expanding.
you got those
I
3 boxes?
did. Oh my gosh, dude!
They heavy?
I'm glad my son was here to help carry those things in. Holy crap! Even the postman was like, "I drove them all the way up here, and I'll carry them to your door."
42 pounds a piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, man, that's the best deal. If you got heavy stuff, you can put a lot of it into one of those large mailers. It definitely was an advantage. I was wanted to send you some things, some tools and stuff that I had a bunch of that I'm never going to get around to listing. I have 20 more boxes of them worth of stuff that I've listed some of it. I'm never going to get it all down in there. It's not like you're competing with me because there's 50 people selling it. But I was able to take and put 42 pounds into one of those boxes, the large shipping box, which cost me like $20 to ship. If I would have sent it priority, so I got there in 3 days. Merry Christmas. That's your Christmas present. That's your
Yay!
pocket change bonus.
Work on my pocket change bonus. That's my
I just
pay.
sold something.
Awesome. That's my payment for being on camera all year long,
Yes.
folks.
You can turn that into at least 30 or $40. If I would have shipped those ground advantage, they would have cost me $53. So $20 priority. And if it was that same weight and it was in a priority box, not the as much as you can stuff in me for one flat rate, it would have been like $78. If you have heavy stuff, priority boxes make sense. Most stuff doesn't need to get there in 3 days. And even UPS ground, it still would have been about $49 to send you that box. That's crazy. But good. I'm glad you got to get
Are
some
we
more
gonna
stuff listed.
are we gonna talk about how what's that TikTok now? The ladies watching football. How ladies should watch football. Have you seen those TikTok?
No, what's that about?
It's talking about how dirty football is
Oh
and
yeah,
the comments they make. You should look it up. But you just made one of those proverbial slips. How much you can stuff in me for $22?
yeah. That's the yeah. Okay, it is. That's the deal. It's $22, and you need to jam that sucker full, and they want it as full as possible.
Yeah.
They don't want lightweight stuff.
If I'm paying
They want
$22, I'm
They want it filled with steel. What are you talking about? Hey, you know what? You take it. You're always like family show, but you take us down these rabbit holes. And usually, see, you had to explain that to me because I didn't catch on. Normally, I'd catch on to what you're saying. Then I'd say the dirty thing, and it always looks like I'm the dirty old man.
you are.
I am, but so are you.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Every once in a while.
not really.
Every
Every
once
once
in
in
a
a while.
while.
Every
But
once in a while, you'll for $22 you'll stuff it full. Yeah.
anyway, um, before I turn completely red here, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone, let's get back to your sales metrics because I talked about mine. So my sales were great compared to last year. Again, it is Christmas period, and again, it was on vacation mode. I can tell you, folks, not being on vacation mode took a worry off on me because last year I got a lot of people who would message me because they will, and they might not. It's not the horrible thing we're talking about, but they'll message you say, "Is there any way I can get this by Christmas?" And you struggle, and especially as a new reseller, you struggle and you go, and you hate to tell them no, but you have to because you don't want that bad feedback. I didn't get any of that this year. The one person that bought it, I literally sent them a message. I said, "You realize I'm on vacation. I'm going to get this out to you as soon as possible, but it's not going to make it by Christmas." And they were like, "Yeah, I didn't buy it for a Christmas gift. I realized I looked at it. It's what I wanted. I don't mind." I still went ahead and shipped it that day, and it got to them on the 26th.
Nice.
But what was your stats? Because I think you still did okay. I think you were down this week, but you did okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was trying to relist the item that I just sold.
You must have more than one.
Yeah, I got more than one, but I only have one listing. So let's revise it and get it back out there so I can sell it again. Duration cannot be revised. Possible reason: the item bid active offers. I don't know what the hell that is. So it's not letting me do that.
I
So
won't
let's
let
get
you
rid
do
of
it
that.
just yet. You actually have to
Yeah.
go in and make the sale because it's not been canceled. That's something they've started. Yeah, because I had that happen to me. I had to wait for it to cancel on one item that I sold a couple weeks ago. For it
Hmm.
to actually cancel, and then I was able to go in and relist it.
I don't think I've ever tried to relist it instantly, like as soon as it sold. But you know what? It sold for $40, and I got 20 of them. So I want to get it back out there. Sorry to waste everyone's time on the podcast while I'm
Hey, I
trying
think
to make
it's
money.
great.
Trying to make money, man.
Right, that's right.
I don't have child support no more, but I'm still working like I do.
We appreciate each and every one of you listening and watching this, but we don't do this for the money here for you guys. So the eBay is, we're not resellers that make our money off of monetizing on YouTube or Spotify. Our money comes from listing and selling on eBay besides our regular jobs when we have them.
January 6th for me and January 13th
January
for you.
13th for me.
We're both back
I am
at it.
going to say this, folks. Here's the neat thing. My eBay sales this year, plus about $200. My eBay sales plus $200 has paid for me to build my new eBay room, office, whatever you want to call it, that I'm working
Yeah.
on over here. Again, the wall is gone now and it's been rebuilt to certain specs. The all new wiring, plumbing has had to be removed and changed around. Lighting has had to be added in because it was pull string lights and I had changed them to little click LED bars. Now it's all can lighting. It is going to be very nice. And yes, I've not poured that back into my inventory because I got plenty of inventory. I really do.
Right.
Lord, if
You were
anybody would
smarter
like to
than me.
buy U.S. Postal Service priority boxes, let me know. You pay shipping.
Just take them back.
I'm
Just
not
take
going
them back.
to take them back. I'm just going to throw them away. My tax dollars already paid for them.
Oh, you know what? They'd be good kindling for the winter. You got a fireplace,
They would. I do have a wood stove down here that I'm.
but don't burn them. I think that's against the law, so I wouldn't do that. I
Is it
wouldn't do
against the
that.
law to burn?
I have no idea. I'm
Sends,
just thinking you to
sends up a
shit.
red, white, and blue smoke
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah,
conclave of the
yeah.
Catholic Church.
Knock down your door. Next day you're arrested, and then you're in prison. And then, hey boy, what you in for?
In
Burning.
prison, running my eBay store. Hey, honey, can
Yeah,
you ship this?
yeah. I don't think burning priority boxes is going to give you much clout in the clink, but you know,
Probably not.
no.
I'm not sure it's illegal, but anyway. So, what were we talking about? Your performance,
So my performance this past week. So the 22nd through the 28th,
correct?
I was shut down for most of that, and then I actually went back to 3 days shipping. So I sold $420 or $419.37, and I've already shipped them, so I already got all the cost out of it. I'm gonna put about $240 in my pocket, so I can't complain.
Low week, but can't complain because here's the
Mhm.
thing, folks. At Christmas time, the eBay crunch, the reseller crunch runs from about Thanksgiving till about the 15th of December. That's when you really, and Ben's and I say this every year, and again, we don't follow through. We really need to follow through because you really need to be listing those weeks, listing hard and pushing your stuff out there because those are the weeks
Yeah,
you're going to really ship and make money. In fact, I know, I don't know him personally, but I know there's one reseller who, and I've not heard him in our circles, but came across, he popped up on YouTube for me to watch, and he was talking about this thing. He takes off his 2 week, he's not a full time reseller, he's a hobby reseller, but he literally uses 2 weeks vacation of his month vacation that he gets every year. He uses 2 weeks at Christmas time or between Thanksgiving and Christmas to do nothing but push. And he said that he makes his year those 2 weeks. That's not happened for Ben's and I, maybe mostly I think because we just go on vacation and say we've had a pretty good year. January, if you look it up statistically, don't get started reselling in January. Get your stuff organized. If you're planning on starting the first of the year and you're just new to this and you've stumbled across this, here's the thing: get your stuff organized, get it ready to go, launch in February because January is generally not the greatest month either.
yeah. They say the worst 3 months on eBay start with a J: January, June, and July.
And yet, June and July this year was actually pretty good for me, and I think those were my best months.
So you're comparing to someone that's saying, I got 5,000 things and I'm selling them, to a hobby seller who's just got 100 things, and you happen to put out really good stuff that week.
That is true. That was when I really started paying attention
Hmm.
to our pick or pass and trying to get more items that have higher resale rates. Now,
Yeah.
we're not going to go into that on this one, folks. If you want to see those and see what we're talking about, go over and watch the pick or pass episodes. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, pick or pass, my opinion, you need to put those, save those, and continue referring back to those until you can memorize what items not to buy.
That's 90% of it. I agree. But it's fun to do.
It is. It's great fun to do. And again, listen, we would love for you to send us some items. Send us cjbensfinds at gmail.com. Don't mail the item. Send us an email, the item with a picture and description. We'll look it up. We'll do it. We'll show it. And we'll even give you a shout out. We'd love to have that. But so Ben still did, you sound like you still did okay. It was down comparatively 2 weeks. How did it compare to your previous week the year before? That same week the year before, Christmas week. Did it give you those stats?
No, what gave me, it just compared it to last week on mine. But I'm down 34% over prior time last year, 34% down.
So he actually did better the week of Christmas last year or that
Yeah.
week.
I don't think I shut down last year.
I don't think you did either. I think you kept it open and I think you just told people no or you just upgraded their shipping.
I think I told them no. So I'm cheap.
I guess I'm cheap. But that would bring us to our feedback of the week. I'm going to go ahead and go first because mine's easy. Mine comes from Bailey Boo 622, and it says good item.
Right.
And that's my feedback of the week because that's my only feedback of the week. Good item.
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't have anything stellar this week as far as feedback. Everything was like okay, highly recommended, good product, good seller, fast shipping, A plus seller.
stuff.
Mm,
Yeah.
fast shipping, flawless transaction, very awesome, very responsive.
Normal
Like,
stuff that you get.
yeah,
So you didn't have anything that stood out to you? You didn't get a good item?
I mean, good feedback. What we're talking about, right?
Yeah, good feedback.
Yeah, that was, I just read all the feedback. I got another one. Bought a Kawiki 167th diecast sealed. Box arrived quickly in good condition. No complaints at all.
That's a good feedback.
That is a good one.
No
I didn't.
complaints at all. That's the kind of feedback you want. Even good item is good. It was a positive. I'm still at 100%.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get any negative or.
No, that's good. That's good. I was worried about the one. I think I talked about it on our last show. I was worried about the one, and I ended up getting a great feedback, and it all worked out. But Lord, be careful the post office you use because some of them do not check it in. They just send it on its merry way, and finally it made it all the way from High Point, North Carolina, to New Jersey on ground without ever getting clocked in.
That's crazy.
I was like, here we're getting ready to have lost item plus refund. Anyway, that's awesome. So, what about buyer of the week? Did you have a buyer of the week?
My buyer of the week is Jolly Roger 1957. And he is a Pirates fan, and he bought a Pirates cup from me, and he really liked it. So,
Awesome.
A plus seller.
Awesome.
I like how he's Jolly Roger, which is the name for a pirate.
Right.
So that's
That's
cool.
that's a ship, I believe.
Yeah,
Is that the Peter Pan ship or is that Blackbeard ship?
I think that's Blackbeard ship. I think it's from what's that? Treasure
Is
Island,
that from
maybe? I don't
Treasure
know.
Island, the Jolly Roger? Folks, you might have to correct our literacy here. We might have to look it up. You Are you googling it right quick? He's googling that. I'm gonna go ahead with my sell buyer of the week.
Peter Pan, you were right.
Okay, so Peter Pan. So the Jolly Roger, that's Captain Hook's ship.
Yeah,
Okay, so my buyer of the week, because it's the only one I had, was J Moore 3941. Actually bought and they, it was sent to me as an offer, and I accepted. It was a vintage Milan tractor trailer trucker pocket watch. Now you have to be careful about these. I'm going to share a screen just a moment.
now you know what the Jolly Roger is? It's the actual flag. So the Jolly Roger is a pirate flag that typically features a human skull on top with a pair of
That's
crossbones.
right.
So that's what a Jolly Roger is.
All right, Benz, I'm going to throw a little thing out here.
Now there is a sexual position, the Jolly Roger, but
I
we
don't
won't
want
go
to know
into that.
about that family show.
Okay, has to do with a head and two bones crossed. All
Anyway,
right, we're out.
uh, anyway, so I'm going to share screen here just for a moment because I want to show this what I sold. All right. So if you look at this, folks, I want you to understand if you're looking at some of these things, I'm going to give you a tidbit of education here. Okay. So this one here was a very tough sell. Here's the reason why. If you look here, it says vintage Milan. Okay. So this here is an actual, and I guess my pictures have gone away. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? There's that one. Okay. I'm hoping to show the face, but it's not loading up for you. Okay. So the Chinese have copied this one.
Yeah,
They've copied this one hardcore. Let's see if no, it won't let me.
it's gone.
Yeah, they have copied this one hardcore, and they sell a copy of this one for $8 on eBay.
Yeah,
So the first offer came in, it was like $6, and I was like, and I hit the buyer back, Jay Moore, Muir or whatever, and I said, look, this is not the Chinese knockoff. This is the actual one that was originally crafted back in the 70s for they actually and it has and that's why I wanted you to show the face because it has a Japanese movement in it.
hmm
Stop sharing so we quit confusing it. It has a Japanese movement in it rather than Chinese movement. And they thought about it for a minute, and then they came back with the 15, and I was like, sure, I'll take $15 for it. I know what I've got in it. I'll take it. It's Christmas time. I'm feeling giving because it's roughly a $20 watch. But I understand too that so when you're buying certain items, you have sometimes have to educate the buyer as well as know what you're talking about too. Because if you just go look on eBay, if you were to take that same item and do what Ben's and I do on Pick or Pass, where we look at the sell versus the resales versus how many's listed, all that science stuff, mathematics that we do there. It's not really that complicated, but it would show. And eBay was all the time telling me on some of these pocket watches and some of my items, some of my other items, hey, look, you need to lower this price because the sell average sell on this is way down here. And I'm like, yeah. And you click on it, and you're like, that's the dinky Chinese model. I'm not doing that. That's not the vintage. And the Chinese sellers will put vintage on their stuff. So if you're a buyer listening too, you need to know more about what you're getting as well, because I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
tell you when it comes to watches in quartz movements, Japanese, it will say Jap, JAPN, MOVT, means more than if it just says quartz. So just gonna have to go throw that out there. But that was my buyer of the week, and very appreciative of that. And that's it on that. What do we got next? Oh, let me kick this off since you can't kick it off and you can't really do anything. I'll kick it off. All right, so I noticed you got some new, it was like some new 124 scale diecast. You've done pretty well with those. These though have some unique features in the fact that they're NASCAR units and the hood's open, which I think is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
a lot of them open the hoods, but yes, the nicer ones. I listed those day before yesterday, and I had 12 of them that I got in a auction, and I've already sold three because they were actually like really like one was an IROC Camaro,
Mm.
which you yeah you can't see it, but it sold like instantly, and there's $100 car. Most everything I listed yesterday it was above $40.
Let me
Uh,
ask this question here because you've got two here, both from 2005. The same driver, Casey Kane, which used to be a famous driver. I don't know. I don't keep up with it too much anymore. Both of them Chargers. But one here, auto value bumper to bumper 2005, it's at 24.95. And then you've got one that's the Great Clips 2005, so it's the same year,
mhm.
but it's at 34.95. What makes one more valuable than the other when it's the same car, same driver? What's got it?
The great clips when they made less of. So that's what it comes down to. It didn't have as many listed, and the going rate, if you go and look it up, was 35.
Okay.
So I don't know a whole lot about those cars. I know I've been selling them and learning more and more. If you find one that's like a specialty like that Camaro, I had a pickup truck from Pickup Truck Race, which I haven't seen very many of them. That one was worth like $75. And then there's just ones that are more rare.
Yeah, like the Kerry Earnhardt one you got here is $45. I like how he's been able to copy his daddy's, and instead of just number three, he's number 33, but that's pretty cool. I always liked Kerry. Kerry's a really great guy living in the area where he's at. I got the chance to meet him a couple times. I did change his, worked for a tire company and changed his tires on his personal vehicle a couple times. And he's really a very down to earth, likable guy.
I got a
But I'm
couple.
not a
I got
big Dale Jr. fan
yeah.
since he yelled at me constantly, don't scratch his rims when I was changing his tires. He and I, had I not been working there and had to use restraint, I probably would have hit him with a lug wrench. But that was way 20 years ago. It's a good thing I didn't.
You're much calmer now.
I am. I'm much calmer now. I got more to lose now.
Exactly. That has nothing to do with being calm. It's, oh, I own a house. Damn it.
Yeah.
I can't be crazy no more.
But Kerry's a great guy. Dale's all right. He can be a little finicky. I was just looking at that and I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that the hood's open.
Yeah.
And these again are 124. So these are not the
Not the 64, 164.
that you were talking about last time.
They're the ones that are like that big compared to a Matchbox car. I got those listed. Those have been selling okay this last couple of days, so I can't complain about that. Actually, I think I sold them all today. They'll be on next week.
So is there any particular, because I've looked at those and I can't ever seem to find any that are worth buying or listing. So how are you finding these ones that range from? Good Lord, I'm just looking at them. They're ranging all the way up into $100 or more.
Yeah, I don't because I buy them in lots and I don't know what I'm getting. So I assume that they're worth $2 a piece to buy, and I try not to spend more than $3 a piece for a whole lot. And then I get lucky and I find ones that are worth money. I
I'm
can mute my coughs now.
every time I've gone, you actually can by hitting that button.
I can mute my coughs.
Every time I go to look for them and search for them, I end up with the ones that like they're $3 to $4.
Exactly. So like you're at a yard sale and someone's just got a couple of them out there. They're what I've found when I find ones that are worth money, it's usually an estate sale or an auction from an estate, and they have a whole bunch of them. Now, there's a bunch of them that are going to be worth 10, $12, but in there, that person collected them. He's got to have a few that are rare that are going to make you some money. So go through the pictures one at a time, look at them all, and you go, oh, that one's worth money. That one's worth money. That one's worth money. And I go through. There's a lot of 10 of them or 12 of them. If it's going to be less than $20, I don't consider it. So if there's 10 in there, or if there's five in there that are, I'll just not consider what I'm going to pay for those. And then the other seven, if they have a value of $250, I'm going to go up to 25, maybe $30, knowing that I had a little buffer. And you usually can get them because most people go, oh, those are $10 a piece. They're not worth anything. They're not worth my time. So you just got to do some research when you see them.
So I think what I heard there, folks, was hone in a little bit more. See, when I'm looking at stuff, so I buy a lot of lots of jewelry and watches and stuff like that. And I don't even look at what's in there really. I know the places I buy from. I know that if it's got 30 watches put together, I know that 22 of them are going to run and the other eight may or may not.
Mm-hmm.
So I base everything off those 22 and I times it by $2.50 and minus out my shipping and tax. And I don't go any higher than that. And the reason is because I've gotten burned a couple times. And a lot of guys, though, will actually do what Ben's is talking about. And they will go in there and they will look at them and go, oh, wait, here's three that are actually, I can make a little higher bid here because it's worth more. So what he's saying is take the time. So maybe I should start doing that on everything I do is take the time to go in and actually look at them. If they've got the pictures provided and be a little bit more astute, to use a big word, on
I stewed outside earlier when I was peeing.
take more time. I think
It's raining now.
the lesson there to really look at what you're buying.
Yeah, and do that because the reason I do that more now than I did in the beginning, I would just okay, $5 for that lot of whatever glassware I don't know anything about. That's a good deal. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. A good deal will get you a whole storage unit's worth of stuff that you're paying $400 a month for. That's what a good deal will get you because there is more stuff out there to resell than you can ever resell. And
Mm,
people are like, oh, it's hard to find stuff. You know what? It's not. You can find more than you can ever sell. Now I need to get to the point where I go, all right, I understand that process now, and I'm being more astute on what I pick. But the problem is, I have 3 years of just, ooh, pretty, shiny, a quarter. I'll take it. So I got to get through that stuff because I don't want to just throw it out. It's all been paid for, so I could just start over. But I'm pretty sure I've got enough stuff for 10 years of stores. So we'll see.
I think he does too.
Hmm.
Hey, if you're a reseller, remember,
Oh yeah,
if something happens to him, I'm selling his address for $1,000 a pop. His wife will get rid of the stuff cheap. I
exactly.
mean, bring a
Free.
truck.
Just
She
show
will
up.
probably just be like, just show up, bring truck. As long as you pack it, you're good. So I will be selling his address for $1,000 a pop. In fact, I may just put it on an eBay bid. Ben's
Yeah,
address.
send his address. I'm glad you're planning on me dying soon. That's nice.
Hey,
You got to make money somehow.
that's right.
You sent me like that peppermint bark. It had a weird almondy flavor to it. So I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have ate that. Oh,
He's full of it, ladies and gentlemen. He and I have been best friends, gosh,
forever.
for a long time. This is what, 2006?
Yeah, 2006.
Gosh. We were both just, we wouldn't have said it then, but we say it now. We was really just both still kids. trying to find our way in the world. Still are, I
Making the way in the world today, it takes everything you got.
guess. Everything you got. That's why a lot of you are listening to us or watching us to learn how to resell from two guys who really don't, who really are just feeling their way around as well.
Exactly. But you know what? We got a little bit of knowledge and we learn more. And every time we learn something, we try to share it. I know you guys are out there. We get some, now we've been getting more feedback on the Pocket Change. We moved it to its own reselling, Pocket Change reselling podcast on YouTube. Really has picked up the amount of conversation we've been able to have with people leaving comments and talking to us.
Oh,
I think before when I had it on my own channel, it was confusing. I think last week we were at 41 subscribers. We did get a call out from Trash Cash. Thank you guys. That was awesome. And we're up to 84. So in a week, we gained 43 new people, which is awesome.
it is awesome. And we're going to keep this kind of the same format. Ben says when he does his move, he's going to rearrange his mess in the back. We'll see. I say when my office is done, I'm going to
When
clean
I
my
move,
mess in the back, but we'll see. My wife says I'm a mess anyway.
I'm gonna make a I'm gonna make a studio so that way there's none of this shits in it. That's my plan. But I'll
That's
run out of room. I'll run out of room out there, and then I'll just, you know what? I'll probably just make a space that I can barely fit in, and then put shelving behind me and cover it with, so that I'll just be right up against it,
It'll
and
just
then
be
you
the
won't.
floating head.
Yeah, green screen, baby.
But we are glad that you guys are enjoying this content. We enjoy making it for you. We really do. I'm sorry this week there's not a whole lot. We're going through the same
All
thing,
right,
but
so I got one thing I want to share. You
okay,
know,
sweet.
indigenous art, dear to my heart.
Yeah.
I think I found something that sells in that.
Oh no, I don't think.
I did. I sold two of them. I just got them. I just got them not long ago.
Okay,
I
all right.
listed them here at Christmas, thinking that maybe, but I'm gonna share.
Finally sold some indigenous art, folks.
How's that look to you? $79.95.
That looks great. Yeah,
So the Tree of Life. So I got two of these in a.
sweet. Now is that your light box?
That's my little light box that you do jewelry in because it's not very big. It's only 8 inches tall, but it's 7 pounds. It's a trunk of wood.
So that
And
was
what
kind
is
of
that?
like hand carved too, wasn't it?
It's all hand carved. It's cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All right.
See, that to me, that's cool. But stuff like that, you really got to be careful. Ben's has a lot of it that he's using for paperweights. And so that's why he had to show me there. Because if you're keeping up with our picker pass, he was very disappointed in
Look at
the
that.
sell rate of it. That's cool too.
It's the same thing. It's just a bunch of them like out of one piece of wood. That one only
Whoever
sold for $41.
whoever
But
carved that is awesome. I
yeah,
mean,
if you see the Tree of Life, or if you see statues like that, those sold pretty quick.
now that's
And
the
I
tree
don't
of life. That's not the what is it? The willow tree.
know. I got some of them around here somewhere.
Yeah, those just leave those on your wife's
I
counter.
did sell one of those for $9, and then but it had a mark on it, and I even said that, and it was a more expensive one that sold for more. And then they got it and were like, "Hey, there's a mark on it." I'm like, "Yeah, go look at the pictures, idiot." That's why it was $9. It should have been like $25. It was like an angel. Oh, it was a man and woman hugging or something. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty tall. I'm like, yeah, there's a mark on this. I'm like, yeah, that's why
But
it was $9.
we're talking about the tree of life, not.
Yeah,
I want to make that distinction. Don't run out and buy those
not
things.
willow tree.
Yeah, they don't. They're worthless.
Yeah, but I thought that was neat. Those two things sold. I
That
sold a
is
couple of
neat.
pieces. I sold some bookends. So
Whatever
I think if
happened
you're
with
doing
your
that stuff, the like regular statues don't seem to sell. But if you can find one that has something interesting about it, it's worth.
now? We got to go back.
Now it's
Statues,
2.4%.
regular statues don't sell unless they are Bob Ross chia pets that you have for a year,
Those sell.
and
Those things
you've
sell.
got them. You've got the price wrong.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, why hasn't this sold? Because there was a bunch. It had a good sale through. And I went, oh, I'm $2 out. I changed that $2 and it sold the next week. I'm like, huh, okay. You really need to pay attention.
There's a lesson on paying attention to the pricing. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons that brings up another good thing for us to talk about. That's another good reason to do your sell similars every day, folks, because you're going to find that prices fluctuate month to month on very on almost everything. except for ladies' clothes. Ladies' clothes only fluctuates twice a year, spring and fall. That's about the only time that pricing fluctuates. If it's summertime, shorts and shirts, short sleeve shirts are in. Starts getting in the fall, that's clothing. But everything else fluctuates. And the more rare the item, the more money you could be losing by not
Yeah.
selling similar and keeping up with what your items are priced at. And if you're trying to sell a coat in June, it's probably not. I've got to where I leave my coats priced for wintertime.
Yeah. Don't go down.
I'm not going to go down because they just won't get any sales on coats in the summertime. But yeah, that's pretty neat that you sold two items and actually do pretty well on them. But
They
you
were pretty
got
good.
to really be careful. My recommendation, and Ben's may second this now, is just like my artwork. I do not list any art. I've got a shipping preference called art. Very simple. ART. And it is UPS only. I'm not going to ship. I had problems shipping a piece of artwork. It was just a small one. And I got very lucky because the box was damaged, yet it was still intact. I got lucky. Ben's did not on U.S. Postal Service here recently. He had a nice statue. You can go watch it on Sipping and Chipping.
Yeah.
He packaged it up. I watched it. He packaged it up like the rest of us probably wouldn't even.
Yeah.
He spent more time packaging than the rest of us probably would at all. He
And that
wrapped
thing
that
got
thing
crushed.
immaculately, and they like ran the truck over it, dropped it off the truck, and then ran over it, backed over it, and ran over it again. So my caution to you is any items that are valuable, like the Tree of Life indigenous art that he was talking about, ship it UPS or FedEx and make sure, no offense to the post office guys, if you're listening, hey, we love you, use you for almost everything, but you're a little heavy handed when it comes to artwork, so I don't ship that way.
I do. Man, whatever. Shit happens.
Yeah, it does. But could
But
you
the art,
imagine one
those
that
ones,
sold
I
for
put
over
them
a
in a
hundred
box.
bucks if
Yeah, I
they
put
dropped
them in a
it?
box, and then I put that in a box covered with peanuts around that box, so it's suspended. So hopefully,
It won't help if they drop it off the truck and run over it like they did the
well,
one you
true,
sent. Because
true,
that's,
true.
I went and watched your sipping and chipping, and guys, I'm going to give this one a shout out. That's awesome. I'm going to
Yeah,
start buying some drinks that he's recommending. Because there's one thing
as
about,
that was on Ezra Brooks cream.
yeah,
That's some good stuff.
if there's one thing that Ben's knows besides his reselling, he knows his alcohols. And if he recommends one, like I used to drink like Jack Daniels and stuff like that. And he was like, "You're spending way too much money. You need to go get Black Velvet." Now,
Mhm.
that is my one of choice. I buy that religiously now. Every 4 years, I buy a fifth. I don't drink very often, but that is my one of choice because it's cheap and it tastes delicious.
Yeah,
But if he recommends a whiskey or a wine or something like that, you need to go check it out if you're into that kind of thing because he knows his drinks. And he
no doubt.
makes, and if you ever get him to do it, hey, Mike, maybe we should get him, we should get the stuff, guys, when we do our meetup. Is you want to talk about one of the best old fashions I've ever had? Benz can make it. Wow. He might have missed his calling. He probably should have been a male Chippendale bar guy or something. I don't know. Mixing
Yeah,
drinks behind the
whatever.
bar.
Work out more, flipping bottles. Actually, at the 127, when I went there, they were having a night where we were going back and hanging out, and I went out and bought two jugs and some. I made two jugs of old fashions and brought them with me. They were good.
I bet so. Of course, now one of the tricks, I won't give it away, is he does this thing around the rim of the glass with a, what is it?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was the trick.
That's what makes it taste good. No, you take the orange and you rub it around the rim.
Yeah. And it does add a lot to the drink. So,
Yes.
but anyway, I'm going to be wanting, if we do the meetup, I want some of them frozen daiquiris.
Yeah. Yeah. No
I'm
problem. Mhm. I got it.
kidding.
I'll buy the whatever you want. We're going to take care of it just to get you to go to one.
Anyway, so
All right. So we do have one thing I wanted to talk about for not really it was an article that I read and then it
what,
took me down.
eBay
Yeah.
news. Okay.
It was about a seller reported a case where a buyer mistakenly blamed them for not delivering an order that they never sold. So the person sent them a note and said, "Hey, why this is a bad order." and then it
Hmm.
highlights the confusion that eBay practices when it's redirecting users to other sellers' listings. Like they're on your page and they say, "Oh, here's something similar." This person went down that rabbit hole, bought it, and thought they bought it from the original person they were buying it from. I don't know how you do that because you'd go back to the order and then say, "Hey, this is a problem." But what they did was they bought a cheaper version of the same thing and thought the person switched it out. But really, they didn't switch it out. They had bought it from a different vendor. I don't really see, I don't know. I can't see how that person would go back. It's not that they could leave them bad feedback, but they sent him a note and said, "Hey, why'd you
Well, what it
switch?"
is probably is saved sellers. So if you've got particular items,
Yeah.
and being a niche seller, I can understand this a little bit more. I'm not really as niche as I'd like to be, but you got saved sellers. You click save when you see an item, you save the seller rather than the item because they're pretty close to right there together.
Yep.
And then you're going down the rabbit hole similar. And then when it doesn't work out, you just go back to the saved seller rather than to your orders, and you're messaging the wrong person.
Hmm.
I actually had something similar happen to me where the lady messaged me back, and I actually talked about this on one of our previous podcasts. She messaged me and she's, "Oh, thank you so much for being the greatest seller in the world. I really enjoyed the cards."
Yeah.
And I messaged her back and I said, "I didn't sell you cards. I appreciate the feedback, and kudos to the seller that really impressed you. I wish I could be the one that impressed you, but I sold you this item." I mysteriously got good feedback, but it was probably a shock when they opened their messages. But I messaged them back, "Thank you so much on behalf of the seller that sold you the cards." I mean, but so I can see it happening, especially when you're saving sellers and you're saving items and you're doing this. And I think too, how recent was this article you got?
This is just from this week.
Yeah.
So,
So this time of year, I don't know, folks, we seem to all lose kind of our minds a little bit. I say this is definitely somewhere we need to offer grace. I would not, if this happens to you, do not respond negatively. Don't be like, "That's not me," in all caps. Just politely, customer service, good customer service skills. Most resellers understand that. If you don't have good customer service skills or you're not wanting to develop good customer service skills, then reselling is probably not for you because you're going to come across people who are very trying. You think the Karens on the TikToks are bad, get one to buy an
yeah.
item from you. And it can ruin your store. You can literally ruin your whole store with one bad thing. And eBay will not stand behind you if you act like a butthole on the messaging. Always be as nice and pleasant as possible. I'm not saying be a run over and walk over and let them just completely run over you. You don't have to. But there's certain ways to say nice no. Say a nice no. Maybe that's the next
Yeah.
slogan. A nice
Yeah, I think that they were what I can find is they redirect. Plus, they'll put stuff at the top bar of the top of your page saying, "Hey, check this out," and it's a
mm,
different seller. Another thing is say they happen to find a ended listing, they can hit find similar, and they might think that similar means it's the same person selling it. Some buyers fail to notice that the original listing, and then they purchase from the wrong seller. So, also promoted listings, people can be looking at something with something popping up on the side or above and then end up buying a very similar listing, but not the actual thing they thought they were buying. So just because it says similar doesn't mean that it's actually the same.
boy,
Redirect similar often takes you to an inferior quality, mismatch in description. It might take it from your watch you were showing earlier. That's the vintage one.
mm,
And then they say, "Oh, buy similar." They find one for $8. It looks the same, but it doesn't have the made in Switzerland or whatever it was. No, made in Japan
yes, Japanese
movement
movement.
inside, and they're like, "No, I bought the Japanese movement," but here they really that's what they were looking at. Similar doesn't mean it has a Japanese movement; it just means it looks the same.
And I've
So
got one of the Japanese models listed on my page right now. The same, and I told that buyer, I said, "If you want the Japanese model, it's $9. It's item numbered up, and I'll be
yeah, they're
glad to
not.
sell that to you
Hmm.
for what you're offering me. But I'm not going to sell you the original vintage one for that price." And they were like, "No,
Right.
I don't want the Chinese stuff." Okay, then you're going to have to pay more for it. So I can see how that happens too because it shows up all the time. eBay does that. They show similar items. They do it to us as sellers when you're listing the average cost of this because they don't look at all the details. The algorithms do not look at all the details.
And I guess there is a thing where now, and I haven't seen this, but then after you buy something, it'll show you the same item at a cheaper price. To say, hey, you could have got it for this. Now, I don't know. That was what on a blog they were talking about it, that they think that's hurt their, they were a niche down seller. And now after people buy things, that it'll show them that they could have bought it cheaper. And so they'll cancel with them.
I
Now, I
don't
haven't seen that.
I don't know if that's eBay. Now that happens to me because I have a Cap One card,
Yeah.
and I have the Cap One whatever thing that does all the, and it will do the same thing. And I've noticed I don't even fool with it because one, it's hard to get your money, your little redeem. It really just takes you to an advertisement for them. It's a
Yeah.
crock of hooey. I'm getting ready to I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off, but it will do that all the time. It'll pop up over eBay or the sites that I source from, which it can be helpful then, but it'll pop up over anything I'm buying and say, "Oh, you could have got it cheaper here." And that may be part of what they're talking about there
Yeah.
because I'm not
I
seeing that
agree.
actual function on eBay.
I had that on there I took that off. There was an extension I put in there for my Capital One. I think it was exactly. Oh, you can get this for $22 cheaper, and then you go there and it's, yeah, but it's the different model, or it's not the same. It's never the same exact same thing. So
Yeah, but
yeah, the one thing I'm going to have to return, I bought a new robot to clean the house, right? So I got a actual really nice vacuum cleaner that automatically comes on, goes around, cleans up because we
mm,
got the dog hair everywhere.
right,
So then I was like, so I've got the triple sliding doors out to the pool, right? And because it's triple, you end up with a gap about that big. So the robot kept getting caught in that little, because three, so he kept falling in the gully. So I went out and bought these. You can buy for the vacuum these fake walls. So it's an electronic eye that keeps it from crossing it, but it didn't work because there's the thing that goes in front of the window that opens and closes, whatever you call that, shade,
shutter,
shutter. No, it's on the inside.
blind. Oh, blind.
The blind. So every time it goes over there, it just pushes one of the blinds in front of the eye. So then I tried putting it on the outside, and that didn't work. So instead, I took a 1x4 or 1x6 and cut it to fit in between the first door and the last door, and then stained it really nice and just stuck it down the slot. So now it just hits that and drives away. So I should have done that to begin with, but I was trying to buy this. And we have another section that we don't want it going in. It does a good job of keeping it out of that area. It just didn't do a good job, I think, because of the slots. And I bought two different ones. I bought a cheap one on eBay that was used, and then I bought the newer ones on Amazon. So it was $12 plus shipping for two of these walls, which I'm about to send back because they don't work at all. They don't. I actually put it directly. Like I now, I was like, is this working or not? Those ones don't work. The new ones do. So I put it right where it would have to cross. It just drives past it like it doesn't even exist. So don't buy used vacuum
Bots.
cleaner walls. Yeah,
Yeah,
the eye.
we can't use those. We would have to buy one because of the way our house is. You've seen our house. It's a split
Yeah, yeah,
level, but they built it weird even for a split level. So it's here's half the house, here's the other half. We shift it. So
yeah.
it's got four sets of stairs. The last I heard, the vacuum robots don't do well due
No,
to
they're not up
hazarding
and
off the
there.
stairs.
Are getting back. This one's cool. It goes and vacuums, and then it goes and puts it up there, and then sucks all the dirt
Oh
out of
yeah,
it.
my wife
And
wants
then
one
goes
of
and puts
the.
itself away. It's cool. It does a great job.
They make a vacuum cleaner. It's just a regular one. It's not the robot one that does that now. And she's oh that would be so nice. It empties itself. I'm like it empties itself into the back canister. So you still
Yeah.
have to empty
But in the back canister, there's these bags you buy that are like $1 a piece, and then they last about a month. You just pull it out and throw it away and put
extra
it in.
bags to
So
buy.
basically, what it is, it's the vacuum cleaner bag that you would have took out of the old vacuums, because now we've gone away from vacuum cleaner bags and everything you got to dump, and it makes a big mess because of the damn suction value.
Here's I'm going to give you guys an idea. If somebody, if you're listening to us and you're on a product design team for shop vacs, make me a power head for my shop vac, and I will buy it because a shop vac my wife uses she burns up these bristles and sharks and Dysons and Hoovers all the time because we have a dog too. We have a golden doodle that sheds like we keep. Even if you keep a golden, they're not supposed to shed, but
Yeah, they're not supposed to shed.
they do. They still shed. Maybe if you've got what's called an F2 or 3 or whatever generation down, they still shed. In fact, my golden doodle is just a golden retriever and a poodle mix. It's the first level, and if you let her hair get long, she will shed a whole dog, like a whole small dog. It's incredible.
Can't be like mine
And
though.
she burns them up,
Yeah.
and I'm like, just use the shop vac.
Hmm.
Just use the shop vac liquid. You mop the floor, spilled water, just keep on vacuuming. It doesn't matter. But nobody makes a power head for those things. And if you could, and I guess they don't because the other vacuum cleaner salespeople, the brands would not be able to compete. But I have had this one. I'm telling you what, I had a
They
Harbor.
do make that. I think it's called a Kirby or Rainbow Lux or whatever. The one that's a canister and you have to
Yeah,
have it.
but it's not the same as a shop vac. Shop vac is the toughest. You get a good shop vac, not this is don't knock on my Harbor Freight tools, but I had a Harbor Freight shop vac. It was the worst piece of junk I've ever had in my life. But I bought a Craftsman, and I vacuum out ash out of the fireplace. I vacuum up water. I vacuum it. Yeah, it gets nasty, but you just keep changing the filter inside and the bag, and by gosh, that thing I have beat the fool out of that thing because you're not supposed to vacuum ash with it. You're not supposed to vacuum drywall dust with it, but I
Hmm.
do. And yeah, one point in time when I was doing a whole lot of drywall and it started smelling a little hot, I just took it out, took the air compressor and blew it out outside and put it back in, and it's fine. Shop vacs are tough as nails if you buy good brands. Need a power head for it, folks. And if you find one, cjbensfinds at gmail.com. He will get it over to me, and we will give you credit on this show for finding one because I have searched high and low for a power head for a shop vac. Anyway, so back to the feedback. Sounds like some people got mixed up on what they bought, and it can
Yeah.
happen, and sent somebody a nasty message. Again, I'm going to remind you this can happen. Be polite and tell them,
Hmm.
hey, you must have me confused with another seller. It's that simple.
Yeah, and I can see why that person might be concerned. Say it's a regular customer, people that have bought stuff from you before, and
Right.
then they get diverted, and now this person's one of your good customers is mad at you for something you didn't do. All right, you know what? That's all the news I really had. There was not much out there, but it's that time of year. They're not announcing anything. Nothing big's going on. Everybody's chill for Christmas, so there's nobody selling Viagra on illegal Viagra or anything. Good articles out there. Cops aren't even busting people right now. So
Viagra. That's funny. And a lot of those resellers you're watching right now, ladies and gentlemen, including us, everybody listening, here's the thing. Everybody knows this time of year, if you've been around for a while, this time of year is going to slow down. Now's the time really to work on your organization. You don't want to do it like I did in June. I know they say June's a bad month, but it's not like this is a slowdown season. Even regular retail. I mean,
yeah,
this is when you see the stupid commercials where they got bows tied on cars and they're throwing out the $7,500 rebates to get rid of the year end models. Every sellable good right now is being priced way low, all this stuff. It, I'm going to tell you as a reseller, I don't do that. I'm not going to just do some stupid Christmas thing or end of the year thing or whatever. No, keep your inventory. Everything sells eventually, and list what you sell and sell what you list. And spend this time right now just getting everything, keep everything going. Don't just stop because you don't want to lose your algorithm, but just do you this time of year. It's the best advice I can tell you. Count your stuff. Go ahead and count your money. Be happy with what you made for the year, and set your goals for the next year. Yeah, you got to
yeah.
count
Just get
your
it, put
money.
it on the bed, and do a Scrooge McDuck in it. And just swing through it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've given all mine to Lowe's
All
and
right.
Home
So on the
Depot.
next one, we'll talk about how we did for the year, not dollars, like total dollars, but like percentages over last
No,
year, stuff like that. Don't want to get too in depth on how much we're making. We're not getting rich here.
no.
It's
As you
getting
can tell, I made $7 on my
yeah.
all last week.
It did buy me a couple bottles of whiskey, so that's what matters.
Ah,
All right. Again, thanks for stopping by. Check us out. If you haven't subbed to the YouTube, please give us a sub. We're trying to get that built up so we can get more and more people, more information out there to you. Or if you're listening on Spotify, thanks for listening on Spotify. All right.
Absolutely.
Have a good
Later.
week. Bye.